Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, which is brought to you by Wellness Forum Health and the Wellness Forum Institute. A couple of things to share with you before we get into the news of the day. First of all, it is time to order holiday cookies, chocolate coconut cookies, individually wrapped, which we put in a lovely box with a card from you, and we can send them any place in the continental United States, and the shipping is included in the $29.95 price. It's time to do it if you want to get them there before the holiday, and we'll be happy to ship them to you as well. They are delicious, and the more of them you buy, the less there are for me to eat in the kitchen. So they are hard to resist, I have to tell you. The second thing is Optimal Life and Health Part with Pam, Part 2, Healthy Aging, is December 6th and 7th. I love teaching this class. It is possible to live in your own home until you're 100 or more and be productive, physically fit. I love being this age. I'm 68. Today, I've done just an unbelievable amount of work. I ran, I cleaned up the yard, I was washing patio furniture and putting it away. I'm going to teach classes tonight. It's great to have that kind of energy. I can show you how to do it and to be in this state of health as well so that you can live independently until you die, right? It's what we all aspire to. So it's December 6th and 7th. If you send me an email, I'll be happy to send you more details. All right, the topic I want to talk about today is some new information about these weight loss drugs. I think we all know somebody who's taking them, and some of you may be taking them, and this is stuff you need to hear about. So I'll just kind of set the stage first. I mean, Americans really are some of the most unhealthy people in the world, and it's getting worse instead of better. More Americans are taking more drugs, more are obese, our lifespans are shortening. This will shock you, by the way. It shocked me a little bit. In 1900, the average life expectancy for people in the US was 47 years. It had reached 79 years by 2019, but in 2020, it started dropping, went down to 77 years, and it was worse in 2021 to 76.4 years. It's going all the wrong direction. These data come from the Centers for Disease Control. And what's really remarkable is that in countries where you would expect things to be worse, like Colombia, it's actually better. They have longer lifespans than we do. Well, there are all kinds of reasons for it, but one of the things we have to talk about is the trend, the abandonment and the trend toward abandoning personal responsibility for health and the search for and the ready embracing of quick fixes. Drugs, supplements, diets, anything that will take care of it quickly. Well, here's what all the quick fixes have in common. They don't work and they often make things worse. And so this is what I want to talk about with regard to these drugs, like the GLP-1 inhibitors for weight loss. I've spoken and written about these extensively, but new information comes out all the time and it is never good. Recent evidence shows that while short-term weight loss, of course, takes place and it's significant, changes in body composition as a result of taking the drugs lowers metabolism and leads to other concerning health issues. According to trial results that date back to 2021, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, about 40% of the weight lost while taking these drugs is muscle mass. This is severely problematic because muscle burns more calories than fat, 14 calories per pound per day versus 3 calories for fat. This results in at least two major problems. The first is that loss of muscle mass can lead to physical instability and weakness. This can result in an inability to live independently. The most common reason why elderly people end up in nursing homes is frailty, and no one aspires to spend their retiring years there. But if you're not physically capable of living on your own, this is where you're going to end up. Another thing is when patients stop taking the drugs, either due to economic factors because they're so expensive or side effects or both, the rebound weight gain is fast and it's huge, and the person's even worse off than before taking the drug. Maintaining a lean body is advantageous for health for several reasons, including these. First of all, people who have muscular bodies have a higher basal metabolic rate, which results in a higher calorie burn. Easier to keep weight off, easier to lose weight as you gain muscle. Muscles use glucose for energy, which helps with glucose control. particularly important since most obese people are diabetic or they're on their way to becoming diabetic. Skeletal muscle serves as an endocrine organ, regulating hormones, including those that enhance energy expenditure. So these drugs making body composition worse and causing the loss of muscle mass, you can see what some of the consequences are. The bottom line is I predict that the new weight loss drugs are going to create a bigger mess than the mess created by the opiates. Millions of people are taking them. Their weight loss is temporary at best. At some point, as I said, both the cost and side effects will result in discontinuation for many, if not most. Companies with self-funded health plans are already starting to exclude coverage for them because they just can't afford the expense. And multiple lawsuits have already been filed due to severe side effects, including several deaths. At some point, doctors and medical centers may refuse to prescribe them due to liability concerns. So, what's going to happen to people who are taking these drugs? Well, they won't just be back to where they started from, but worse off because it will be even harder to lose weight as their metabolic burn rate has dropped precipitously. Several years ago, and some of you followed me for a long time, you might remember this, I filmed a video about the contestants on the hit show Biggest Loser, which was one of the most god-awful things that ever was on TV. I can't believe it lasted for so many seasons. Well, the subjects had to endure severe calorie restriction, less than 1,000 calories a day average, and ridiculous amounts of exercise, in addition to the awful public shaming that was part of the show. Almost all of the subjects gained their weight back after they were on the show. Most of them became significantly more obese. This was due to the fact that, first of all, people were never taught to have a normal relationship with food. That's not what that show is all about. And also because of the severe calorie restriction that led to adverse changes in body composition. So we've known about this for a long, long time. Ansel Keys, by the way, conducted a controlled study of starvation diets on weight loss and health and rebound eating and all that sort of thing over 75 years ago, and the results were disastrous. So this isn't new information. In fact, could have been predicted when these drugs came out that this is some of what was going to happen. And yet here we are again. So I'll come back to where I started from. The quick fix is never a fix. It's just a postponement of the inevitable. Yeah, sooner or later, if you're going to be a healthy person, you have to pay attention to your mindset, your behavior, and your habits, and you have to take responsibility for yourself and your health. It's not easy. I certainly don't want to represent it that way. It's just better than all of the other alternatives. One last thing I'll say about this, for people who have difficulty changing their habits and their mindset and all that stuff, I taught a program this year called Winner's Circle. It was incredibly successful. I'm teaching it again in January. Again, if you're interested, I'll be happy to send you some information about it, dates and times and curricula and all that sort of thing. We'll be starting it in January. Couple last things. Health professional training fees go up in January, so this is a good time to talk to me if you have some aspirations of training with us. And the truth about COVID vaccine injury is December 11th at 7:30. It's going to be a pretty fascinating workshop, and I promise all who watch it will be surprised at what I have to tell you. So, one more thing, just feel free to send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. I can send you information about all that stuff. And as usual, thank you for watching, and pass this on to anybody who you think might enjoy watching it and learning from me. And I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news.